What is up, you guys? In today's video, I want to give you my 5 best productivity hacks for small shops or garage-based shops. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And I am so excited about today's video because I'm going to be diving into my top 5 productivity hacks that anybody can implement if you have a small wood shop or maybe you're working out of your garage. I think this is going to be super, super helpful for you on your journey to creating a better woodworking business. And so if you don't know, my name is Zach Vaught. I spent the last 7 or 8 years building my own woodworking business up to $75,000 per month. We had a team, a big commercial facility, a showroom, and sold that business back in 2024. And now I work with and help woodworkers just like you do the exact same thing. And so in today's video, I've got 5 steps that you can take to dramatically increase productivity inside of your shop. So without further ado, let's dive into the first. Number 1 is make sure that when you are building, you lay out your process in a way that you have no downtime. That's right. Number 1 is no downtime. So what does that actually practically look like? And so inside of woodworking businesses in general, or woodworking shops, you have moments where you're gluing things up, or maybe you're applying finish and it's needing to dry. You have times during that process that there's a lot of downtime, right? If I'm applying a finish, I gotta wait for the finish to cure before I can do anything with it, right? So what I wanna actually do is I wanna be strategic in my planning process for every single project. So typically, the way that we would do things inside of my woodworking business is that we would start with glue ups and get them glued up and leaned up and out of the way. And specifically, in my business, we focused on tables, benches, and chairs. And so typically, if we were gluing up a tabletop or a bench top, we'd get it glued up and we'd get it out of the way, and so that it could be drying the rest of the day. And we would start working on the table base, or we'd start working on the chair assembly, or whatever that might be, right? So what we don't want to do is we don't want to get to a point where we can only do a couple hours of work and then we're just twiddling our thumbs waiting on a glue up or waiting on finish to dry. But that's number 1, is we want to make sure that in our planning we don't have any downtime. A lot of times what this also might look like is overlapping projects. And so typically in a small shop you can't really do more than 1 project at a time. But what you could do is, if you have any downtime to the point where if I'm working on, say, project A and I couldn't make any more advancement on the project today, after I do this one task, I'm waiting on drying, I'm waiting on glue up or whatever, I can start overlapping project B into my workflow and start on a certain process for project B. And so number 1, one of the biggest productivity tips I can give you is be super efficient with your time and commit to not having any downtime when you're in the shop, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, reset the shop after every step of the build. This is one of those ones that I minimized for years and made a huge mistake personally. And I'll walk you through what this looks like. And so if you're like me, you generally have a relatively organized shop. You try to always start with a relatively organized shop. And what happens is during a project, let's say it's a big project like building a dining table or building a dining table set, I start grabbing tools and I start moving tools into other spots in the shop. And what happens is by the end of that project, I'm spending probably 30% of my time just looking for tools. What that ultimately means is that if I am spending all my time looking for tools, I am not being efficient. So what I eventually learned after years of beating my head against the wall and not learning any better was that after every step of the process, I needed to take 2 to 3 minutes to reset the shop. And so what that means is I'm just grabbing everything that's mobile, that's small, glue, bottles of glue, biscuits, whatever that thing might be, and I'm resetting the shop. I'm getting it back to its original position, and I'm moving to the next phase of the build. And on the next phase of the build, I'm grabbing just what's necessary to complete that phase, getting it closest to me, completing that portion, resetting the shop. And so trying to have a reset of the shop at every step of the process is super important for the sake of efficiency, okay? All right, woodworkers, I've got a challenge for you. It's called the 5K in 30-Day Challenge. Join the Woodworking Business Accelerator program, follow exactly what we teach you to do, implement the systems, the processes, the sales scripts, and if you close $5,000 in new custom furniture sales in your first 30 days, we're gonna give you your program fee back. That's right. You will have literally built a business growth system for free. So why would I do this? Well, because I would rather actually put my money where my mouth is and win only if you win than just asking you that you should just simply trust me. So if you're ready to build a business that funds your life and not just your hobby, this is your chance to build it without any risk. Check it out, link in the description below. With that, let's get back to the video. That's number 2. Number 3, this is one of the big ones that really was a game changer for me personally. and that is to put all of my big tools and all of my big workbenches on wheels. Especially if you have limited space, I cannot overemphasize how important this is. Let's say you're working out of a garage, you're working out of a place it's big enough for you to have a little bit of a workflow, which means that you would have like raw materials going in one spot, and you could like work around the wall to like the miter saw, and then the table saw, the clamps and the clamp rack, and then the sanding station. Like if you have a big enough space that you can create somewhat of a straight line workflow to where it could pop out the door as a finished product, then this isn't as important. But if you're in a really confined space and you basically have the same little area to work in, you need to be able to wheel tools into that area and wheel them out of that area, to wheel workbenches into that area and out of that area. And by having your workbenches and having your bigger tools on wheels, man, it just can save you so much time. Another great thing that it allows you to do is it allows you to use your driveway. It allows you to wheel stuff outside if you need to, in order to capitalize on any space that's available outside in the good weather days, right? And so put your big tools, put your big workbenches on wheels. And I know that you're like, man, I don't really want to do that. It's a little bit of an investment to put everything on casters, but I promise, especially your workbenches, having those things on casters will be an absolute game changer for you in your journey, okay? So that is number 3. Number 4, quit brushing on your finishes. Spray your paint and spray your finishes. And also moving to faster drying finishes, okay? Faster drying paints. This is mission critical to increase your speed and efficiency inside of the shop. This was, out of all the levers that we pulled, one of the most impactful things that we ever did. Going from a slow drying polyurethane product to a fast drying spray on lacquer was a game changer. Now, just know this, you are going to have to deal with fumes. Just about everything that I have found. Let me know in the comments if you found something that you spray that has a quick drying time that doesn't have bad fumes. I would love to hear from you on that. But for me, the trade-off here was that things are pretty fumy. They don't smell great, right? So you need to be wearing a respirator. You need to be wearing a mask. You need to be smart about your health and your safety when you're making this transition. But by spraying lacquer, we went from dry times of 6 to 8 hours with polyurethane to dry times of 45 minutes to an hour, right? And that allows you to really get back into that project and make the next step forward. If you're applying a second coat or a third coat or whatever that might be, astronomically faster, right? It's not taking up an entire day for something to dry. And you're also not having to wait and plan to spray at the end of the day so that it dries overnight so that you come in first thing in the morning and you can do the next step. Also, when that happens, a lot of times you have a slow drying finish. If there's any chance that there might be bugs or mosquitoes or dust or something like that that might get in the finish, typically that happens, right? And so you end up with an imperfect finish because a mosquito landed in the finish or some dust fell off of the light fixture above and landed in the finish, and now you can't get it out, right? So quick drying finishes not only allow you to move a lot faster, but they typically improve the quality of your product a lot too. Also, Rubio is a good option. We use Rubio for a lot of our finish work that we did. I have some guys inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program that like swear by Rubio. They love it. It's the only product that they use. I personally found that I like spray finishes better, but that's up for you to kind of experiment with and determine for yourself, okay? And then lastly, last step I've got for you today in improving your productivity inside of your small shop is limit your steps. Now, I know because you have a small shop, your steps are already kind of getting limited. But what I mean by that, I used to live next door to he actually would go into giant commercial manufacturing facilities as a consultant, and he would find inefficiencies in their processes. I actually interviewed him. It was like inside of the first 10 or 15 episodes inside of the Handmade Business Secrets podcast. His name is Tom Dostal, and he talked about one of the number one fixes that companies can make to improve efficiency, whether they're giant companies or smaller companies, is just limiting your foot traffic throughout the process. And so if you think about an assembly line, if you think about Henry Ford developing the assembly line, what he essentially did was he kept the workers in the same location so that they could focus on doing the task at hand, and he brought the workflow to them through the assembly line, right? Instead of a worker bouncing all over a building to try to accomplish a task, he made it super easy on them to accomplish the task by bringing the work to them. So how does that translate to what we're doing? I'll give you just an example. There was a certain table base that we used to always build that had like kind of an X shape. And typically on this build, I needed 2 drills, one to drill screws and one that I needed to put a pre-drill bit in. I needed a brad nailer, I needed glue, and I needed clamps, right? Smaller clamps in order to get all this stuff built and put together. Well, for years, again, with me not learning, me not understanding, me not making improvements, I would start and I'd grab the first drill that I needed and I would pre-drill the hole, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I got to grab my second drill, and I'd walk back across the shop and walk to the other side of the garage and grab my second drill, and I'd do it, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, I got to get screws, I got to get glue, and then I'd go grab the screws and the glue, and then I would run out of screws and have to go get more screws. What I eventually learned was like, hey dummy, get everything that you need before you start. Put it on the workbench that you're going to be on so that you don't have to take any more steps. You don't have to go chasing after what you need to accomplish this task, right? And so by limiting your steps, by gathering all the tools and the materials that you need all at once and preparing, even if you spend an additional 5 or 10 minutes doing it, you're going to save so much time on the back end by not having a bunch of unnecessary steps. And so with that, those are my 5 best productivity hacks for you if you've got a small shop, you're working out of a 1-car or 2-car garage, and hopefully this is helpful to you. A couple resources that I've got for you real quick before we leave. Number 1 is my completely free ebook that really outlines my journey of starting in my garage and to ultimately building a $75,000 per month woodworking business. And so that's completely free to you. It's the first link in the description below. Just got to enter your name and your email, and we'll get that sent over to you, okay? Number 2 is the Handmade Hero Academy program. If you are truly a beginner and you're trying to figure out like, what products do I need to sell? How do I test what products I need to sell? How do I build a website? How do I start driving traffic to that website? How do I get better photos and better videos? If you're in that phase of your business growth, I want to encourage you to check that program out. It's a low cost investment that you can earn your money back on with one piece of furniture that you sell from something that you learn inside of that program, okay? So be sure to check that out. And then lastly is the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. If you are really trying to grow your custom furniture business, if you are trying to scale beyond $10,000 a month, I really do believe wholeheartedly that this is the best thing on the market right now that's going to help you do that. We're going to help beef up your product catalog so that you have more to market to your local area. We're going to run ads for you or teach you how to run ads so that you can get in front of that market consistently every single day, get opportunities to give out quotes. We're going to also train you on how to close deals, how to follow up, how to set the rhythms and habits in place in your life that make you a successful business owner. And then lastly, we're going to be coaching you every step of the way. So this is a comprehensive program that's really going to help you on your journey. And so with that, if you have any questions or need anything, let me know in the comments below. All those resources that I just told you about are in the description below. There's links for everything there. So with that being said, I love you guys so much. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next video.